wrong person to look at it. Is it on now, Jessica?
What's that?
Is it, can you check now?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's live.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Members of council, appointed officials, I'm Scott Burford, I'm York County Commissioner. It's my privilege to be here this evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to give you an update on County Bridge, as we call it, number 47. And I'm accompanied by the county engineer, our bridge engineer, Steve Malesker. And just, I do not have to tell this body the storied history of Bridge 47. It is a complicated issue, as you all are aware. The county owns the bridge. The bridge carries a rail trail, multimodal rail trail. It also carries a rail. And we also have a state route that travels below it. So you've got the county party, the state party, and we cannot dig the roadbed out because of the low-lying infrastructure. We can't raise the bridge for a couple of reasons. One, it's a historical bridge, and we can't alter the bridge for its historical value. And secondly, and probably most importantly, we can't raise the bridge because the impact it will have on the excursion train using the rail, NCR. And I think everyone here is generally aware of all of that. So I won't bore you with the details. However, I do want to kind of drop back into time a little bit to give you a backdrop of how we got to where we are. You know, the residents of Seven Valleys have been dealing with this for decades. Certainly recognize that. And I know there's, you know, a lot of people have a lot of fun with it and so forth, but we've been very fortunate there's been no injuries that I'm aware of. We've been very fortunate that there's just been property damage. And like you, I'm responsible to protect the assets of the public, and that bridge being one of them. And so back in 2004, we started having some serious discussions with PennDOT to try to figure out how we could mitigate any future damage. And it's not the first time the county has had conversations with PennDOT. Numerous conversations have occurred over the decades. However, there was a window of opportunity that we felt might lend itself to a solution. There was some changes in administration with PennDOT, maybe some new ideas, and it was an opportunity that I felt, you know, I was ready to seize. And so we started having these discussions with PennDOT, serious discussions in '24. And as those discussions were progressing, our partners of PennDOT were very receptive to looking at alternate solutions, because they were, in essence, you know, they have been dealing with it for years. And they, to their credit, have posted signage up and down the highways. I don't know that we could add another sign up and down the highways, and I'm sure you would agree to that. People don't read the signs anymore. And as those discussions were progressing, in the middle of those discussions, the bridge, you know, had some significant impact. In November of 2024, there was a strike, and it was so significant that it altered the bridge. It bent the rail by 1.5 to 2 inches. And so we had to have that repaired, as everyone here is fully aware. And that lent itself to PennDOT eventually approving a plan to install an early warning system. That is something that we have been proposing. Sometimes it takes a triggering event. I don't know if that bridge strike in November of '24 helped our cause, but if it did, I'm here to say I'm thankful that, again, no one was injured. We were able to get the bridge repaired. The commercial carrier's insurance covered the cost of those repairs. And if you haven't heard, that was to the tune of about $430,000. So it was significant money that went into the repair of that bridge. So that led us to pursuing this right of way with PennDOT, and they were open to the idea, and so we were able to secure the the right-of-way. And since that time, and the approach is to install what's called a clanker system on the east side of the bridge and a clanker system on the west side of the bridge, not basically very close to your building here. And it's an early warning signal. I have our engineer here. We can field questions if need be, but it's a system that has never been installed in south central Pennsylvania. It's been used in other jurisdictions. And we brought along some pictures. We brought along our plans for you to take a look at. And if you could just imagine a pedestal with an arm coming across the roadway and with some dangling panels. Those are the clankers, or clangers, some people call them. And when those are struck, it will signal lighting. And when you strike the panels, even though it's not an audible, you can hear them being struck, but there's no amplified annunciation panel or anything like that. And the design of this apparatus will not do damage to the vehicle, but it will signal that they are too tall to go under this bridge. It still amazes me how people do not know the height of their vehicle, and especially if you're a commercial hauler. It just amazes me. So that is our plan that we proposed to PennDOT, and our partners at PennDOT, they were very receptive, and so they gave us the right-of-way permit for the west side. We are still working on, and we anticipate the approval for the east side any day now. And since we have received the permit for the installation of the one on the west side, we've already designed it, and we brought those drawings as well, and we have put that out to bid, and we have ordered those materials. And as it stands today, originally the window, the lead time to manufacture this equipment, and again, this is not something off the shelf, it's design built, and so it's fabricated. The lead time, we were told, was roughly 6 months. Now it's closer to 8 months, I'm being told. So we're somewhere in the fall, October timeframe is what we are looking at. And once we do receive the materials, we will install them as soon as we can. And the second installation on the east side, high probability that won't occur until early next year. So that is our plan in general, and I am happy to take any questions. Again, certainly appreciate the opportunity to give you an update.
I guess a few questions. It's going to be designed just like this with the lights attached to the posts there, correct? And
Yeah.
I guess when he says east and west, the first one's going to be over here on what I would call the north side of the bridge. And then that only's hanging halfway across the road, right? So
That's correct.
Going, I guess, north to south, it will only be half. So me and Commissioner talked, I mean, he understands that there are certain vehicles that still have to go around it to get to the restaurant for deliveries. We have a resident that lives across the street that has a camper that's over height, so he's already questioning that, and I basically said, well, you're gonna have to either slow down, take your time, and go out and around. I guess we all know the big things are going to be if a truck hits them and keeps proceeding, and Commissioner, he knows my reservations about, what there's no public turnaround for that truck. The fire company is already talking about putting chains and everything else up on their parking lot, to try to eliminate and prevent any more damage. And that was my question about, Cherry Street, which is our Borough Road. We already know how many trucks go up that road and stop at the rail trail crossing and realize, oh no, where do I go? We've had them, being that I live right there, and the Dinsmores, they've had tractor trailers and equipment trailers coming from here up behind their house in their private driveway. So I mean, there's some things that we may, again, whether it's no outlet, on Main Street, whether it's not going to stop them, of course, but You know, they don't, but, I mean, there are the reservations. I know I did have one residential question. You know, it's how, are they going to be are they gonna be hung lower than the actual posted bridge height? Or are they exact, like by a couple inches, you know what I mean, like,
They will be exactly 11'1".
so exactly 11'1". I think we all know the bridge may measure a little higher than 11'1". So, okay, that was one question that did come up in quick conversation. And really the other side is gonna be across the entire road, because it's almost a single lane roadway there. But again, that's going to be past Church Street. So it's gonna be kind of in that winery section, you know, so it's, you know, they hit it and they're moving quick, they're still gonna hit the bridge. You
Well,
know?
so the point is for them to see it before
Yeah.
and be able to make
We
it.
all,
turn.
we
Yeah.
hope
The
that's the
signs,
case,
too.
you know, but
We know the point.
we all know that's going to be probably our problem there is, you know, they don't see them as it is, and there's not gonna be much room for them to hit that and brake if they're moving too quickly, you know, so, but I think we all understand that anything is better than nothing. You know,
Yeah, we're,
They come with blinking lights that stay on all the time.
I think they will be on all the
Oh,
well.
okay.
They're constantly
Yeah,
lighting on.
because it's gonna be,
Okay.
they'll be solar panel for
Okay,
power,
that should
so.
help.
I would hope.
solar panels. And
More
to
of
the
a different visual than a sign.
yeah.
I'm curious if you do hit them, like he was saying, this camper, if the camper goes through, what happens? Anything?
Oh, they'll make a noise, but they're designed so they'll
Swing.
swing.
They'll swing, so really, that camper could go under them.
Yeah,
And it would just.
at slow enough speed that it
Yeah.
would just,
Right.
they would.
Then it
go
shouldn't
down.
be,
Rattle them,
yeah.
and then the light would go on, but then it would go off.
Yeah,
It would go off, and they're designed not to damage the vehicle. So if you're
Okay.
going at low rate of speed and you're just creeping through, so to speak, and it shouldn't do any damage to the camper,
Yeah.
as long as he's not trying to go under the bridge.
Well, and that's, again, I mean, with tractor trailers that are 13.6 that have to get to the Valley Tavern, you know, they're gonna have to go out and around most likely. Cause they're gonna, I mean, you know, they're gonna hit maybe the clearance sign if they don't, if it's a, you know, I would
Oh,
hope that would be
that's
hung above 13.6, but they're gonna have to go out in the other lane to get around it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is common sense, and I mean, they will, you know, I've already talked about them, they're gonna have to let their drivers know, and I mean, their weekly drivers are usually the same, so it won't, you know, it'll be the substitute drivers that they'll have to be careful with, but.
No, I've said, a lot of us have lived in this town for years, okay? And I had a relative the other day told me that she's lived here longer than I have, and she said this bridge has never been hit as much as it has in the last 10 years. And she said she blames it on Arm & Hammer and Amazon because half of them drivers can't speak English and they're lucky they can read the signs.
Well, I don't wanna say that, but we all know that, I mean, again, we all know we're the shortcut from Route 30 in West Manchester Township to 83.
Because I had
I mean, and,
my sister-in-law just called me tonight and had Channel 8 on, and she said, I can solve that problem for you. You put a state cop on this end, state cop on this end, $1,000 fine and 30 days in jail. She said that might solve the problem. She called me tonight and said.
Well, I want to thank you guys for bringing the update and the picture and coming down and talking to us.
one other, I'm sorry, the concrete footing will go in a lot before October though, right? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
That's gonna go in, once the contractor is approved, that they'll
Yeah.
basically be down to put that in and get that, so.
Yeah, we'll pour the base and then wait and install the
Yep.
fill when it arrives.
But I do agree with you, Scott. I'm amazed how many of them do not know how high they are.
Big kids
Even
shop.
my husband, he drove for ABF and he said, I'm amazed. He said, they don't know how high that trailer is.
When we were pursuing this option, the staff went back just to 2017, not that long ago. And since 2017, we're already, north of 85 strikes that have been reported.
It's a lot GPS too. They're
It
using
is.
like
Yep.
Waze or something like that, looking at that. It's not commercial, they don't have the motor bridges and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They're watching that and just driving right through it.
And the 511 PA app is free.
Yeah,
And,
that's what
and
they
that
said.
has all of that,
Everything.
everything
Yeah, that
in,
doesn't
so.
make sense then. Yeah.
Now, I'm just kind of curious, is there any way that because of those warehouses, they couldn't tell them that they shouldn't be coming down here, that to hit the bridge, or would that not work?
It's not really their responsibility, but again, they can tell them, but they're still gonna go the way they wanna go. I mean, but
And this is for 2 units.
yeah,
2 units.
So Church Street will not be affected.
no.
Anything coming down Church Street.
Right.
Any RVs, campers, anything over 11, that, right.
Yep.
They're still going through,
Yep.
because they will.
Oh, yeah. They'll be right
That
there.
one won't go away.
No,
Box trucks that come down that road, make a right turn,
yeah.
But they should,
Well,
so
then
then
they'll
you'll
see
see
what
that
they'll-
they'll stay hanging there, you would hope.
yeah, but how far away from the bridge on the south end is that?
So it's gonna be on that side, because of that house that has a retaining wall, it's actually going to be on the winery side and then hang all the way.
So it's
over.
visible at that corner?
Yeah, it's gonna be visible.
Good. That
Yep.
answered that question. Done with me.
And this one here will be roughly 35 feet, this side of that intersection.
So with that cantilevered across on that side, is the flashing lights gonna be on the left side of the road coming down there? You won't have anything to put the flashing lights on.
It'll,
Right side.
yeah, it'll be on the signal mast side, yeah. That was just the only way to get it.
Right, yeah.
Get it there, and then even there, there's utilities and stuff that we had to deal with there, but we found a good spot there in front of the winery.
Appreciate again the opportunity. If any questions come up, certainly reach out. Happy to answer those questions. And otherwise, we hope to get this installed as soon as possible.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
It's Kathleen Easley, 87 Church Street. To my understanding that there was a little to-do a couple of weeks ago, and that every member of this council got an email on it about somebody being hit with a purse on a bike. And I'll tell you what, I've ridden bikes, and it wouldn't have ended the way it did with me. It was put on Facebook, it was taken down. I don't know why it was taken down. It should have been left up there. It was the truth. And y'all decided to take it down. So why was that?
Nothing to do with us.
The borough?
It was, I took it down, I take responsibility for it, I maintained the Facebook. Had absolutely nothing to do with borough business. And if that occurred, why were the police not called?
I'll tell you
If it's
what,
that critical.
It wouldn't have been the police with me.
Well, look, it's not a borough business matter.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
If it happens in the borough and it affects the people in the borough, it's borough business.
It's not, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
You should be aware of the people that you have living in this place.
I can't agree with you more.
Thank you. About that.
I can't agree with you more on that one.
I'll agree with that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Engineers report.
The only thing well, I have two things actually. First one is, this should be the last of them, a decrease in funds for the Community Development Block Grant for up on Church Street, curb and sidewalk. Everything's been paid, so this is excess funds that they'll just put back into the program. And the decrease is $3,355. So just need authorization for,
Question on that, Ty.
Yeah.
We had discussed about some of the cracks and stuff in that. Would that have any effect on that? I
no.
did want to go and check all that. I didn't get a chance, but I know just.
No, because I have a note on that yet. I'm gonna follow up with Nicole at the county. There's typically a 1-year maintenance guarantee on that. So I'll follow up with her, but these funds have already been paid out. It's just that it's excess grant money that was awarded to us that was not utilized. So they need to formally do it through a contract reduction.
There's chunks out spots where like they overlap on the existing sidewalk going up to the steps
Mm-hmm.
and with the shift this winter.
Is there a schedule for when the engineer would like walk through? And
I don't know that, but I do, Greg had mentioned that before, and I do have it on the punch list of things to do here yet, so.
So we need a motion to send that money back to them, or?
Yeah, just a motion to approve the amendatory contract.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Greg, second by Deb. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then subdivision plan.
Yeah, this is a subdivision plan. The actual subdivision is taking place off of North Rohrball Road in North Cadorce Township. Just so happens that there's a small portion of the acreage that is located in Seven Valleys Borough. So of course, we have to be on the plan as well. But the actual subdivision work, none of it's occurring in the borough. So we would just need motion by council, if you're okay with it, to defer approval of the plan to North Cadorce Township, because that's where all the subdivision is taking place. And that's pretty common.
So all of the parent tract in Seven Valleys is not being affected at all by their plans?
That is correct.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bill, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else for the engineer?
No.
Solicitor's report.
Nothing to report unless anybody has any questions.
Anything for Mike? Sam? All right, zoning and code enforcement report.
Everyone has a copy of that. I don't know if anyone has any questions. If not, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Any questions or comments on the zoning and code report? All right, fire. Nothing. Anything on fire from anybody?
Just those two items I had listed there.
The online training and the fire
Yeah,
police authorization?
that information's there for that NIMS training Doug had talked about. If you click on those, they should be links that open. If you have trouble, let me know. You can do it online at your own pace, and they'll print out a little certificate and whatever. And then the second item is just authorization recognizing that Seven Valleys Fire Police have authority to assist Springfield Township in the Jacobus Lions Club 4th of July blast on July 4th and 5th, and that's just to document it for workers' comp.
Do we need a motion every
Yeah.
time they ask? Need a motion for the fire police to help Springfield Township over their 4th of July celebration.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Greg,
Second.
second by Gary. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Recreation?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up on the ICS and the NIMS. Both of those start with 100 and 700. That's a series. So once you do the 100, then you're eligible to move up and do the 101, 701. It's a good series of sessions if you are interested in looking at it. The YMCA branch report, as well as the playground committee report. The Y board did not meet in the month of April, but the site work has been started in the parking areas. Final completion is set for August now. A temporary operations occupancy permit is being seeked out for Jackson Township for mid-June for the Y to start minimal operations. And then by August, all the parking areas will be done and the whole building will be in full use. The Give Local York event took place last Friday, May 1st. The goal of $40,000 to raise in those 24 hours was about $1,500 shy, which is still pretty happy with that branch raised $38,000 in 24 hours. Their next meeting is May 19th. Playground Committee, the committee met virtually on April 20th at 11 a.m. There's no changes to report regarding the project updates. Discussion continues with the maintenance agreement with York County Parks, and the timeline is currently being developed. An update is anticipated. Hopefully that agreement is in front of us next month. It was confirmed that all grant submissions must be coordinated through Kate King. She's in the process of scheduling a meeting with Teddy, who from the York County Parks, to ensure the alignment moving forward. So she has to put the grants in, not the county. All the grants have to come through, all through her desk. Fundraising efforts for 2026 are underway. Upcoming and recent activities include an event scheduled for this Saturday at the Valley Tavern, where a portion of the proceeds for each of the crushes that are sold gets donated back to the playground project. Also, a pizza party for children on the last day of school, May 28th at 5 p.m. at the pavilion located at the Rail Trail parking lot. Jessica's continuing to outreach to local businesses to build partnerships and support. Yard sale signs are being developed from Total Identity, but we're waiting on the pricing to come back for that, as well as a playground logo for future merchandise is being designed. Jessica's also begun sharing updates and information through the social media channels. That next meeting for the Playground Committee is scheduled for May 18th at 12 o'clock.
Where's that at?
Here. Yeah, good. I'll give that to you for now, Todd. I'll send you an electronic copy.
Yep. You did it right.
I did already.
Yep.
All right.
Check that off your list.
A lot of things going on today.
All right. Old business, vacancies on the hearing board, zoning hearing board.
Let's jump to that here. Planning Commission and Zoning Hearing Board, I know we had the question last month. Zoning Hearing Board consists of Jody McDonald, Greg Bonas, and Jessica. Planning Commission currently consists of Rhonda Schrader, John Patterson, and I received a volunteer request of Colleen Liberatore. Liberatore, okay, sorry. So if council so inclined, she's here in the audience, appoint her to the Planning Commission, then that would at least have a quorum on our Planning Commission, but still have 2 open seats on planners.
I'll make a motion to appoint Colleen to the Planning Commission.
Motion by Bill. Second by Mark. All in
Is
favor?
it verified, I have to ask, is it verified she is a resident of the borough?
Yes.
Just making sure,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, good call.
Motion by Bill, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. for
Thank you
taking
very much.
Interest in being on the committee.
All right. Any other old business?
No.
All right. New business, real estate assessment.
Okay, well, maybe we should have kept Commissioner Burford here for a little while longer. Sam, you got the text, tell them what's going on.
No, it's the email.
See the email.
Apparently, they've done an audit of every exempt parcel in York County, and they're applying a different standard of rules that just because you are a municipal entity does not mean that your entire parcel is now real estate tax exempt. So they want your taxpayers to continue to pay more to the county through taxing. Very fun. So, one of the things that we would like approval from you for this, they've essentially taken, and apparently a majority of this building is not tax exempt anymore. Not really understanding why, because you're holding your meetings in it. But we would like your approval to file an appeal if necessary and to reach out to Jay King and figure out why we are no longer 100% tax exempt for this parcel and see what we have to potentially do to be tax exempt 100%. It just doesn't really seem right that your taxpayers are paying taxes twice.
The reason we're requesting the authorization to file the appeal is these documents were dated April 3rd, and I was blissfully ignorant of them until about 1 p.m. this afternoon. The appeal deadline would be the 11th of April. So we filed.
May.
May, I'm
May.
sorry.
I was gonna say, that's
Yeah,
not
May.
good.
Yeah, May, sorry about that, May 11th. So, and there is.
And it's free if we do it by then.
Yeah, usually costs $100, but it's free if we file the appeal. So we'd like permission to file the appeal and then hopefully work out what the issue is. And if it's the woods out back, rec committee can cut a trail so you can have a passive park back there. So that's, we went through this with the churches a while back, so.
The disaffiliation from the Methodist Church, when they transferred from United Methodist to regular, they wanted an explanation and proof that they were still churches. I'm hoping it's something that's that relatively minor, but who knows? I have to see the rules, because the email today was sent out to almost every municipality, if not every municipality in York County. So this is apparently kicking a bee's nest at this point.
And school districts are hit too.
Yes, yeah.
Well, and I thought at first that it was because it finally caught up with them that the property had been transferred from the ambulance club to the borough, but again,
Did you do that in September of 2025?
is that about when we did it?
I can't remember. No, we did it before that, a year before.
Well, then this
Well, that's
is,
the arbitrary date that they want taxes
Yeah.
from. So,
right. So again, we'd like a motion, please, to authorize the appeal.
Questions,
Make a motion
comments?
to authorize Sand and Lake to make an appeal to the tax bureau.
Would it be because the ambulance is no longer a volunteer ambulance?
I thought that initially, but then when I saw that it went out to everybody in the county, I don't think it's just that. But we do want to talk to Jay to see what exactly for Seven Valleys Borough is apparently the problem.
Thank you.
And according, you read the email, I didn't, but according to this, they are willing to
Communicate.
accept informal communications to try to resolve the problem. But again, given the time limit, we've got to file the appeal, so we preserve our right to take it to the appeals board in the event we can't work it out with the county.
If you do it within the 40 days, it'll go back to September 1st. If you don't do it within the 40 days, it'll be from the date of appeal, which means we'll owe taxes back to September 1st, which we don't want to do if possible.
I got a motion by Greg. Second by Deb. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, I have resignation of Todd A. Ziegler of Treasurer, Assistant Borough Secretary, Zoning and Codes Enforcement Officer, and Right to Know Officer.
And that will be effective, my last full day will be June 1st.
Motion to accept the resignation?
Make a motion to accept this resignation.
Motion by Deb,
Second.
second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. All right. Next, we have an appointment of Treasurer, Assistant Borough Secretary, and Right to Know Officer, starting at the time when she would accept, which would hopefully be today or tomorrow, at $885 per month. Her name is Megan Harris.
And along with that motion, the candidate will perform tasks as reflected in the job description that was given to her.
The motion should also include the acknowledgement that you would be paying her and Todd both for the month of May for the transition. If she accepts.
She accepts. Okay.
So moved on that motion?
Motion by Bill. Second by Mark. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I oppose it.
Opposed by Deb.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have appointment of zoning and codes enforcement officer.
And just for background information on this, at the last meeting, you authorized me to send out requests for proposals for zoning officer. I sent out 6 requests to different individuals and organizations in the area that I was familiar with, and we received 2 replies. Those were provided to council. One was from Barry Isett and Associates, and the other was from Dependable Construction Code Services.
Just so, can you go over those fees for Dependable, Mike?
Yeah.
So we have that,
Yeah.
kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and again, I'm familiar with both of them. ISET is a company in Mechanicsburg. They're relatively new to giving services in York County. I happen to personally know somebody who works for them as a zoning and BCO, although not in a personal capacity, not a professional capacity. DCCS, I've worked with Kevin for years. He had been with South Penn before he went out on his own. I'm working
And
with him.
he's your BCO.
He's currently your BCO, and I've worked with him for both BCO and zoning in East Hopewell. He comes with a number of references. The fee schedule is on there. What would be of interest to us in terms of zoning has to do, he's got inspection fees on there. Code enforcement is at the rate of $63 an hour, which is significantly less than what the other one was. And then he has flat rates for dealing with complaints, civil filing fees, and court appearances, whereas ISET is strictly their hourly rate for all services provided, which was $100 an hour.
And that would cover zoning enforcement as well as municipal.
Zoning and our municipal ordinance enforcement, not involving building codes, because that is already covered under our other contract with them.
Thank you. I would think, my opinion is, I think keeping it back to Kevin and Dependable, he's already familiar with building codes, and working with him. I think, $65 an hour is a lot better than the $100 an hour.
It's actually 63.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's even better. I think, again, we all know we are basically driven complete based on codes altogether. I think directing, except, the overheight, I don't know, if we can direct that person to, provide, a weekly or bi-weekly drive through the borough, whatever that may cost. But I see we could probably still fit within our budget numbers at $63 an hour for the year, I would assume.
Where's he located at, Mike? Where would he be?
Their offices are in there on Theater Drive in East York, where the old Stony Brook Drive-In used to be, the road that goes up through there now to Bash's Shopping Center, et cetera. And like I said, the other company's in Mechanicsburg, but my understanding is they're getting ready to open an office in Columbia. So, and I would certainly suggest that whichever one we choose, you have one of the representatives come either to the June or July meeting and have a give and take as to what you expect.
Thoughts from council? Motions from council?
Need to act on this tonight?
Well, it's up to you.
I think that, so we don't have a lapse, or, you can pick up right where we're at with what's going on, that we should get on board with Dependable. I will make a motion for that.
Motion by Gary, second by Mark. Questions on the motion? Comments?
When would the starting date be?
June 1st.
June 1st. So Todd would continue until June 1st. And then
With the
Herzog.
starting date being June 1st. Add that to the
Thank
next.
you.
Motion by Gary, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Could we reach out to him and see if he's available?
I will send to him and tell him he's been appointed and see if he can come to the June meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. And I'm sure if Kevin can, one of his other people probably would be able to. Unless, well, again, you know, first Monday of the month's a hot night for municipal meetings. I will see if they can come.
All right. Next up, junior council person.
I just put that on,
She graduates in a couple days.
yeah, so we'll get the word out if there's any seniors, what, juniors and seniors?
I think it's high school.
High school.
Yep.
If there's any high school residents that want to serve as a junior council person, you know, get in touch with myself or the new person and pass that along to council for the fall season.
I think just for the record, even though she's not here, you know, thank her for being quote unquote our guinea pig. You know, I think, going forward, I hope, you know, we can find somebody that would be interested in it, and maybe with the next one, maybe give them a task that they can be responsible for and guide, you know, whatever that may be. You know, or some kind of maybe event every year to plan, but again, I mean, you know, McKenna was our guinea pig. I think, you know, I hope it helps her in the future. She was able to learn some things, see some things, and just some good experience, going forward, and, you know, wish her luck in the future.
Thank you.
Will you need a formal resignation from her, Todd?
I think
they age out.
She's no longer qualified as junior.
Probably a letter stating she's graduated and no longer wishes to serve because of her losing qualifications.
Invalidation.
Just so you have it for the record, would probably be appropriate.
Sounds good. Streetlight contract.
Streetlight and the Comcast, I just put that on. We'll be hearing more about that here in the coming months.
When's Comcast contract up?
They reached out to us about a year ago and said they'd be in touch, and they haven't been. So I tried calling the number that was on the letter, and it's a dead number, so I need to track someone else down at Comcast, so.
I can find you somebody because
Okay.
I've been working on one for East Hopewell, but find out, because those contracts should have had 5-year renewals.
Like
Yeah,
if you
I'll
heard
look at
nothing, it
ours.
automatically renews.
And it should have been in 10 with 2 5 renewals. We just need to know when it expires. Because if we don't renew the contract, we can go out and pull our cable lines off our lights. You didn't hear me say that.
All right. Treasurer's report. Anybody have a chance to review that was sent out? Any questions or comments? If not, I will take a motion for the treasurer to approve, accept, and file statement for order and authorize the treasurer to pay any regular bills over the next month. Motion by Greg. Second by Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, request for payment.
This is just informational. These are the final numbers. The total cost that was associated with the stormwater on Church Street was $40,177. We were awarded $47,500. We're eligible for 85% reimbursement, so that's being submitted, and we should see $35,150.45 coming back as a reimbursement.
And we paid for that out of our
General fund,
Yep, so then that reimbursement's gonna go right back in there?
correct.
Okay.
Anything else for the treasurer? Secretary's report?
Let's see here. Just a reminder, everyone, I know Mike has brought it up in the past here. Got another email from the Springfield Township Sewer Authority. They're still having a lot of problems with people putting grease down the drains and causing problems at the pump stations, as well as feminine hygiene products. So neither of those should be flushed or dumped down the toilet or the drain. So we're going to put something together to get out there on social media to try to spread the word. But
Just a note, I answered my own question about the Comcast contract. We entered into it in 2011. So it would be, we'd be in the 15th year,
Okay,
so.
yeah.
We probably should take a look at renewal, but I don't think we're due quite yet. Unless it only went for 10 and 5, then we'd be up.
Okay. Anything else for the secretary?
Just also, we did have the tree planted out here, the Liberty tree, for the 250th anniversary, so that's been planted. Other
Is
than
that
I
marked
think
in
that's
this
all.
way?
Not at this point, no. No.
We're gonna get a plaque though.
They did not put one there yet.
No, no,
oh.
but they're making them and they're gonna redistribute them.
Yeah, but I was gonna say,
Yes.
correct, yep.
We will be getting a
Yep.
plaque.
Okay, mayor's report?
Other than, well, the fire company had their barbecue, towards the beginning of the month. Seemed like it went attended, they had great weather. You know, they're looking at more ideal if they would use that field. As we know, with commissioners' presence tonight, of course, it took, you know, 3 or 4 days for a truck to hit the bridge coming the exact way they we just finished repairing it or tapped it anyway, so other than that, I got nothing else. I mean, I welcome everybody to join in the playground fundraiser this Saturday, as well as Remember Your Mothers on Sunday, and just for the good of the order, the June meeting, I will be at the PSAB conference in Hershey, so I will most likely not be here for that meeting.
Okay.
I have a question about this bridge again. If they come past in the intersection and they see they can't go under the bridge, and everything's chained off, what are they going to do?
That's what I asked him too, and he said, well, they're gonna back up along the roadway. I said, okay, if that's what you're telling them, because I mean, I emphasize that both parking lots that they turn around in and every driveway they turn around in are private property, and how are you going to say that's okay? And he basically said, well, we're not saying where they can turn around, so we're not giving them any direction. So basically, they're on their own.
But if they don't damage vehicles, why can't they be before the intersection?
Because big trucks will
Yeah.
go there.
So put it high enough that doesn't hit the big trucks, but the bollard ain't low enough.
But coming down the roadway at 55 miles an hour, and they're not gonna see it and slow down anyway.
But they're gonna do that after the intersection?
Again, we all know anything's better than nothing. I think they're gonna be kinda spinning a couple times and, you know.
Just go on YouTube and see some other people who have had problems.
We all know, but again, I think anything is better than nothing at this point, but that's why I think as a borough, we need to look at protecting our borough streets a little better, especially Maple and, I mean, Cherry Street too, even though it's a short dead end.
But I'm talking about your delivery trucks.
Their delivery trucks, not my delivery truck.
Well, the tavern's delivery trucks. Where are they going to turn around?
Well, they can back into their parking lot, because they go in and back up.
So if one of these trucks did that, could they go around it and find the tavern's place and back
No, it's a
around?
private parking lot, they don't want trucks that don't belong to them there.
I know they don't want, but I mean, it would,
Charge
there's
them
nothing
a
that's.
$100 fee.
That's the problem, who's responsible for the maintenance of
Who's
unnecessary
inconvenienced?
trucks? That's what the fire company is complaining about. I mean, if you look at the front parking lot out there,
Who's responsible now?
the property
Okay,
owner,
there's,
Okay, so right now you
It's the
have,
new
say,
law.
what, 10 trucks a week turning around
I
down here?
don't know, I mean, I'm
With
just,
this bar across, I think you're gonna have only 10 a year.
that's what,
Most of them are gonna see the bar and the
that's what
lights.
we're hoping, that's,
I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
you're not gonna,
We're not gonna
people
change
that are
it.
gonna hit the bridge are gonna hit it no matter what's there
We can-
anyway, and hit the sign no matter what's there anyway.
talk about it for 20 more hours in this room, we're
No,
not
I know.
changing a thing in their plan.
I look at it, it's not costing the borough money, if
50
that's
hours of
what
it.
they wanna do.
I just think it's gonna be a lot less.
I agree, I think it is gonna mitigate some of the issues.
Thank you.
Might not cure them all, but, you know, if we can even knock it in half, it's still better than nothing.
Actually, absolutely, not going to anyway, so, see what happens, wait and see.
Well, I'm just thinking that
No, I-
as the fire company's concerned, it's gonna be a lot less. than
Yeah, I
it
would
is
hope
now.
so, I know, but, you know, so. I agree.
All right, still at 3 liens.
Yep.
Question on the liens.
Yes.
You provided in your report, there's actually 5 liens. 2 of them
Well, it's
are
3 properties that are lien, yeah.
3 properties. But
Yes.
the one property that the folks that caused the lien have moved out.
That's correct.
So why wasn't that taken care of?
We had the same thing happen across the road here, and we contacted the current owner, and they notified their title insurance company, and they took care of it.
Okay,
So
so is that what we're
that's the
gonna do?
intent here, but hopefully
Copy.
that's what
All right,
happens, yeah.
thank you.
Anything on the sewer meeting report?
I had highlighted a couple of things, nothing major this time. Let's see if I can find what I
Getting
had.
aggressive with enforcement again.
Well, the one thing is they're still having problems with nitrogen phosphates. Let me see once, what I highlighted when I read through it. Yeah, they're looking, there were some issues in there with PH acquisitions at 32 Main Street. I think you saw they worked that out. Working at excessive nitrogen levels at the plant, and they're buying a very expensive machine to be able to test for nitrogen and phosphorus twice a week. Again, that's not unusual. And once again, as Todd mentioned earlier, there was concern about the grease traps not being inspected for 3 businesses in 7 buildings. Those are the highlights of the things that affected the borough in the sewer report.
Who's responsible for looking at the grease traps? Are they, or are we?
I
The
believe,
property owner gets those inspections, as far as I know. I mean, and they submit the inspection report to the sewer authority
and the authority.
Commercial properties.
The authority, you didn't used to have this, but for about the past 15 years or 20 years or so, municipal authorities now do have the ability to promulgate regulations and actually cite people for violating them. Used to be you had to go through the borough. We would have to have an ordinance that would say, clean out your grease traps. The sewer authority would have to tell us they're not doing it, we would have to cite them. But now, the authorities have the legal ability to take corrective action for those that are not in compliance.
So we could, the borough,
We don't have to do anything. We're not involved.
well, who are the people involved? Would it be, I'm assuming the tavern, would
I
it be
know
the
they
fire?
get, they're not one of the ones that, I know in that report, it listed.
It's
who
not
did
only
get
businesses, you
It's
get,
commercial
you get,
property.
you get,
Commercial
you get,
properties.
yeah, but if you get 10, 15 people dumping their grease down,
Oh,
that's just as
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, but residential property doesn't have a grease trap.
Correct.
Okay, I was just curious who in the borough would have a grease trap.
Well, like,
No, that's a problem, they don't have
Liberty
one.
Christian still has one,
Oh, okay.
the tavern has one.
By the fire station. By the
Fire
firehouse.
company may,
Just
I would
as-
assume they do. I don't know if Hostetter's has one, he may, just because they may wash trucks and all that.
Okay. right,
And
just
I'm
curious.
guessing that maybe the testing laboratory might have one, because it's a commercial property, but I don't know, I thought they listed the 3 in there that they did not receive one last year from them.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm learning a lot.
Anything else on the sewer meeting?
Just ask questions.
All right. Todd, you got anything?
Just one thing I forgot to bring up. I know a couple of months ago, we talked about the Facebook page. We have the Seven Valleys Borough, and then we have the Seven Valleys Borough Official. And we talked about trying to get ads off and so forth. So we are going to be bringing up a new Seven Valleys Borough Facebook page. Those 2 are going to get 2-week notices that they're going to be shut down in 2 weeks. So in about 3 weeks, a new one should be up, and that's going to be for posting information only, not for public comment and discussion. It should be only for distributing information.
It's an out, not in.
Correct.
I would hope that, I urge council to look at a resolution on social media policy. It is a common thing across municipalities all across, it's for the municipality's protection as well as it gives guidance and direction on what and who can post. So there's certain things that I urge, the Borough Council to look into some kind of resolution.
That's probably, Doug, gonna be a topic at the Boroughs Association.
It always is.
And I would,
Bring a template
I would
back.
suggest get a template or get any information you can to share with council, because
The SAB
We-
has their sample right on their website. so
we,
you can
we
look at
agree
it.
completely that you should have a policy on it.
Yeah.
Mike,
Nothing.
Sam?
Only one thing you guys mentioned earlier, your NIMS training, actually super important. You want to have a certain percentage of you guys that have had that training in case there's a federal declared disaster so you can get funding. That's really important. Please do it. Other than that, I'm done.
Sure.
I don't have, I am NIMS trained from before, but how do these council people sitting here know where to go and what to do?
There was a link.
I emailed a link to everybody. So they have a link I emailed to
Okay,
everyone.
thank
Yep,
you.
Yep.
Doug?
Yes, sir.
Gary? Mark? Greg? Deb?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Todd, I just want to tell you, I appreciate that you're going to shut down them other ones. Because I had lunch with the lady the other week, and she was not happy with us or the mayor. She said that she feels as though it was the council's responsibility to say what should and shouldn't be on on them Facebook pages. I don't have Facebook, but she showed me some of the comments, and she was really upset. She said, "You people are representing the borough," and she said, "You need to calm this down." I had the gentleman tell me, just like Todd said, put the stuff on about the playground, yard sale, anything, but do not be putting it on and bashing people. She was upset, and so was the man. He said, "This needs to stop." And I told him, I said, "I don't know how to do it unless the council has a thing to do," because I told him I would bring it up to you, see what you can and can't do. And I agreed with her, you need to stop bashing people on Facebook.
Nobody, I would hope nobody on this borough council is bashing anybody on.
No, that's not what she meant.
But I would also, that's why I have urged multiple times about some kind of resolution to and direction of, and I believe, again, like you said, it is informational purposes only out, and you've got to be careful of what you delete and don't, because it is public record. If it's an official, and if you're letting people comment, now you're kind of stuck a little bit. But again, they have the process going forward that enough notice is given, and things, again, without a resolution, I think, that would be the first step, then proceed.
Todd, I need to ask you a question. The two that you're taking down, is that gonna be the ones where they make comments about?
Well, both of those sites will come down,
Okay.
where all that is. And then the new one will be just where the borough puts out information
Right,
only.
now, I mean,
And if I can just follow up, Deb,
She was very upset.
everybody gets the agenda every month,
Right,
and there's meeting guidelines.
right.
And if you look at the last two, it says all individuals shall conduct themselves with dignity and proper decorum. And the second one says personal attacks on council members, borough staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. And I think if that policy stands true at a borough meeting or a public meeting, the Facebook page is a public forum as well, and those same rules should be applied. So that's what I
kind of agree
follow,
with you,
so.
But I know, like I said, those two people were not happy, and I said I would bring it up to see what we come up with, because she felt as though we are representing the borough, and the mayor included, and she said, this needs to stop, and the other guy said they just need to put on things for upcoming events, playground, what the meetings are, yard sales, whatever. That's it.
Bill?
Nothing.
Okay. And we will open back up for public comment.
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't mention that, hopefully no one on the council or staff is on Facebook participating in any of that. I will say there is 2 individuals that would be participating in that. I won't say the names, but there is 2, so, but it is happening, so it's not that they're not. And they seem cheeky and almost think it's kind of funny when you guys were all saying about respecting people, and hopefully no councilmen are talking bad about people, but there's plenty of screenshots out there. Second, would be, I'm glad to see this Facebook page being shut down, because not only, I would agree that it shouldn't be bashing on others, and I know Todd runs that Facebook page, and he put a reminder out there. It says anybody, kind of like, hey, this is the last step. Anybody that does mention something about anybody else is getting banned, but there hasn't been any banning of anybody, even anonymous participants. Admin has control to see exactly who that admin, anybody that uses anonymous, he has the ability to see exactly who that person is and delete that individual. We can't see who that individual, well, we can go through steps and figure out who it is, easy, but just like generically, we can't see who that anonymous participant is, but he can. So he can automatically delete that. So that anonymous person that was on there that's been speaking for the past 3 weeks to a month, just saying as many as things about me, but the thing is it was like almost selective. So he wants to delete everything about anybody else, but then he's okay as long as it's directed towards me, which is kind of messed up, and it shows it's not just a black and white. It's not just gonna be like, if I follow the rules, I'm gonna do this. I'm sure he has something to say on that's fine.
No,
But-
thank you. I appreciate you.
But
Thank you.
Is
Is there anything else besides Facebook?
Well, there is.
Could you
probably-
just state your name and address for the record,
You
for the
got it.
public?
Yeah.
No, for the
Sean-
public.
Okay, for the public, everybody knows where I live.
It's recorded.
Sean Snyder, 59 Main Street. I own both 57 and
Thank you.
59 Main Street for
Thank
7
you.
years now. So anyways, but yeah, the Facebook, I'm glad to see it shut down. So Facebook, the group official is getting shut down, and then also the Borough, the Seven Valleys Borough page is getting shut down.
Correct.
And then you're opening a new page that's comment only, or no comments.
No, just.
So we have a lot of followers on the actual page already. Would it be just, well, you'll be out of it, so it's whoever, I guess, maybe the mayor will be.
No, I'll be here the month of May yet,
So
and it's
once
gonna
it's
be
out
in
of your
place.
hands, but it'll go into someone else's hands.
Correct.
So could we just keep those same followers, since everybody is already follows that? I feel like it would be harder to just start a whole new Facebook than it would be just to turn off commentings on what's already there.
Okay, thank you.
There's already a history there. That's like actually a positive. I think that would be a more positive thing than delete it and then make everybody restart on a whole new one. That'd be a confusion. I'm sure we'll still do that anyways. We're good.
Anybody else?
I might have misunderstood. Ms. Stiles, 79 First Street. You were talking about the ice cream playground. Did you say something about a design, not a design, an insignia or something?
Logo.
Logo, somebody's working on it? It struck me, there's a lot of talent out there, and we're probably looking at busy. There might be somebody that might wanna do like a contest or, not a contest, just put a name in the hat, you know what I mean? I
Okay,
don't know how you wanna put it out.
that's something to think about.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, I got one more thing. Second thing would be, when an individual in town mentions that our friend Todd's resignation is happening, so then all I do is go onto that community group that was made to discuss community things, and I just had, did you see what I wrote? Did you see it at all? It wasn't anything bashing, it wasn't anything like, thank God Todd's resigning. I just said, I heard that there's going to be open positions, where will they be posted, right? So then that automatically transpired to a 5-6 paragraph essay about how terrible I am and how I don't respect the borough's transparency, but here we are, already have someone picked, but we never broadcasted that to anybody that actually lives in Seven Valleys for any of those positions. So I don't know where, really, I would love an apology. It's not that it really does anything for me, but I should validate that you were wrong. But I think the issue is if the borough wants to be transparent, that's been the whole process. right? For the past years, we're just trying to get transparency amongst the borough. So then when someone that's in Seven Valleys asks about positions that are opening up within the borough, and then we ask, hey, where will they be posted? So if anybody individual in the borough would like to be, just inquire about the job, not say they'll be picked, but they could at least put maybe a resume in or even attempt to even become, because we might have somebody really, really good that's even better than Megan, that we've already picked. There could be somebody else that lives right in town that actually has personal interest in the borough itself, but we never got that. But the thing is that whole post about can we be transparent on the job descriptions that are being put out there? Because I've heard everybody known for months, quote unquote, that Todd's resigning, so there's definitely positions being open. Where will they be posted? And it automatically, instead of just being like, hey, we're actually doing a closed job interviews, we're doing closed things within the borough, or we already have somebody in mind, it was, why would we not be transparent and put this whole thing on there? So then an entourage of people are on there thanking Todd for his service and how terrible I am, and then it turns into a bashing session on Facebook once again. Now, the bashing part's not the thing, it's the individual topic. Like, don't take it as like, I'm mad at Todd for doing that. I'm upset that the borough didn't have a chance to transparently see job descriptions that were opening up, or even know about it. This whole thing has been, and then it's been handpicked by Todd himself. That's not right.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Colleen says thank you.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. for
I
coming.
would like to have an executive session after the meeting.
For the purpose of,
Personnel,
okay,
council personnel.
So then you didn't adjourn. You recessed.
your recess. Or do we, well, wait, do we need to take
I'll lock the door.
do we need
Everybody's
to
out.
take official action?
No.
Then we can adjourn, but make an announcement, we'll discuss what we talked about last time.
I was online for the first 30 minutes trying to get a different.
I do.